Hi, I'm Lola Aneke and I welcome you to Speak Down on Finding Help with Special Needs. So it's still Better Hearing and Speech Month as declared by Asha. Therefore today I'll be sharing with parents, teachers, caregivers, therapists on tips for encouraging children with communication disorders to talk. So many times children with autism, Down syndrome, non-verbal learning disabilities, and ADHD do experience challenges with talking. And today I would like to share about 10 tips with us on encouraging them to talk. The first tip is to keep talking fun by using everyday activities to encourage the child's language development. A good way to do that is you ensure that you speak or communicate with the child during bath time, during when you're cooking, or during nap time, or time to set the table for meal. And when you are encouraging conversation and encouraging the child to speak or talk with you during that time, don't forget that the first word the children learn is to name objects. Okay, they use noun first, and then they use action words which are verbs, and then probably adjective to describe what's going on. So you might want to talk about things like now you may want to talk about the body parts when your child is having this or a birth, or when you are having a shower for the child. You might want to say head, shoulder, knees, toes, hand, legs. That way you are intentionally using that activity, that big bath time, to encourage speech and language communication with the child, and you are deliberate about using nouns. Some verbs you can use are pour, scrub, scratch. All of those words you use whenever the child is having his or her bath. The next thing, you could also use adjectives like hot, cold, dry, wet. These are words that you generally use during bath time with the child. So it's good to encourage the child to speak by you speaking about those things and using specific examples that relate to the activity you are having with the child. That way you're encouraging the child to talk. The second tip is to reward and praise the communication attempt of the child. And you do not necessarily have to correct the child's grammar or pronunciation. So if a child says, I want to eat lead, for example, you could just easily say, oh, you want to eat bread, as opposed to trying to correct the child's words, or the child's words is struggling with. The best thing to do is just to praise the child for using the words in the first place. I said, oh, you want to eat bread, thank you for using your words, or something like, I like the way you just said that word. And sometimes they may not say it correctly, they may not pronounce the words correctly. Please do not crucify them by trying to use the words correctly, or do not correct them at that time, okay? By trying to, so a child could say something like, I see you yesterday. You don't have to say, no, it's not I see you yesterday, it's I saw you yesterday. No, just say, oh, you saw me yesterday. Praise their communication attempt. You do not necessarily have to correct their grammar or their pronunciation. Now, the next tip is to use facial expression and gestures to help the child understand what you're saying. So if you want to say, I'm very happy with you, you might want to give that expression, I'm so happy with you. Or you want to use words like give me, you want to stretch out your hands, or you're saying bye-bye, you want to also show the child using that gesture. The next tip for encouraging children with communication disorders to talk is to keep your sentence short and simple. So you want to say words like put the plate on the floor, or put the plate on the table, as opposed to saying put the plate, the cup, the cutlery, and every other thing on the table. Make it simple and make it short. The next tip is to speak slowly and clearly. Repeat your sentence if necessary. Speak slowly and clearly, and you might want to repeat your sentences if necessary. Remember that these children might take time to process what you're saying to them. So you don't want to speak too fast, and you don't want to jumble up your words when you're speaking to them. Keep it slow and clear. And sometimes, because they're processing what you're saying, you want to pay attention to where they are in their level of processing, and then repeat the words or the sentence so that they remember what you've asked them to do at that time. The next tip is to emphasize key words you want the child to learn. So if you wanted the child to learn the word drink in a sentence, you might want to use the sentence like this. You may drink the milk. You're stretching the word drink. Or your shoe is under the table. Under should be stretched if that's a word you want the child to learn at that time. The next tip is to set a good example for the child by modeling the correct speech. And you do not necessarily have to have the child repeat your words after you. Simply use, if a child says something like anana, you might want to say, oh, banana, or you want banana, or I see you want banana. Or the child might say, I want it. As opposed to saying, oh, it's not I want it, just say, you want cake. Do you want cake? You say the right thing to the child by modeling the right words to the child. The next tip is to give the child enough time to respond to your question. Again, the issue of processing. Sometimes the children take time to process what you said. So give them time to answer your question. The next tip is to avoid placing too much pressure on the child to talk. Sometimes the children can't talk, but they might not be interested in talking, and they might see it as a way of you showing off with them or having them do a verbal performance, and they might not be interested at that time. I'm sure some of us have seen cases where your little child begins to talk, and so she can say bye-bye, she can say hello, and then you ask the child, can you say hello to auntie? And the child just keeps quiet. And don't mind the child, don't mind him, he can say it, Please do not put pressure on them to use the words or to talk to you at times they're not interested, or the time they feel that you're just trying to show up with them. And lastly, discuss the child's speaking ability with a speech therapist or a professional, and try not to expect too much or too little from the child. By speaking to a professional, you can know the level of expectation to place on the child so that it's not too little or too much. These are the few tips I'll be sharing with you today, but I'll recap as always. The first thing is to keep talking fun by using everyday activity to encourage the child's language development. The second tip for encouraging children with communication disorder to talk is to reward and praise the child's communication attempt. The third tip is to use facial expression and gestures to help the child understand what you're saying. The fourth tip is to keep your sentences short and simple. The fifth tip is to speak clearly and slowly with the child, okay? The sixth tip is to emphasize keywords you want the child to use. And the seventh tip is to set good example for the child by modeling the correct speech. The eighth tip is to give the child enough time to respond to your question. The ninth tip is to avoid placing too much pressure on the child to talk. And the 10th tip is to discuss the child's speaking ability with a professional and try not to place too much expectation or too little expectation on the child. Thank you for watching this video. Leave me comments and questions when you've tried the tips, and don't forget to look out for our regular trainings that will be coming up very soon. You will see more details about these trainings on the flyer. Until I come your way again next time, bye-bye.